Okay, so let's look at sketching the graph of general trig functions. So we're asked to sketch the graph of y equals 2 sine bracket x plus pi over 2 take away 3. Alright, if we go through what we have here, first of all, this 2, okay, remember that controls the amplitude because of the front, that's the A. So A equals 2. This is D equals minus 3, so that's going to be a shift down of minus 3. Right, and we have a value for C, pi over 2, we're going to do plus pi over 2, that's going to change. Right, we don't have anything written for B, but technically I could put a 1 here, and 1 times that bracket doesn't do anything, so B is actually 1, so the period doesn't change at all. Right, now let's look at sketching the graph for this. Right, let's draw our axes first of all. Okay, and let's start off with the key points. So remember, don't forget to label your axes. Right, let's say this is pi over 2. Again, let's say that's pi, and this is 2 pi, and this is 3 pi over 2, and this is pi over 2. Okay, pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, oops, 3 pi over 2. Okay, actually I'm going to rub these out because they're too big. Okay, that's 3 pi over 2, right? And let's include one more, let's include minus pi over 2. Right, what I do is I start off with the amplitude and the displacement, and I get those two things drawn in first. So what we have is that this graph has been displaced by 3 units down. Okay, so it's been moved 3 units down. It's been shifted, right? It's been translated 3 units down. Remember, the principal axis is whatever number that D is, so that's my minus 3. Okay, so let's say there's minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 is there. So what we have is this is going to be the middle of our wave, right here. Okay, that's going to be the middle of the wave. So remember, you have a function, and the middle of the wave is whatever that particular value is. That's going to be there. Now, the amplitude is 2. That means each peak and each trough is going to be 2 units high. So if I start at minus 3, then I need to go up 2 units, so I'll be at minus 1. And then if I go below 2 units, that'll be minus 5. So what we have is an upper and lower bound, effectively. It's not going to go above this orange line. It's going to touch it but not go above it. Let me make that a little bit better. It's going to touch that line but not go above it, and it's not going to go below this particular line. But now that's all that's left is to work out where the wave starts. Now what I do before I actually go and sketching it in, I just do a little sketch of the sine function just to remind myself of some key points. Let me do that a little bit better. So key points. So sine starts at the bottom, it goes up and down, and that's one wave, right? And then this is pi here, this is 2 pi, this point's 3 pi over 2, and then this one is pi over 2, and it starts at 0. But the thing is though, we've got this value c, so this is going to shift the function back. Now what I want you to do is imagine this wasn't there. Okay, imagine that wasn't there. So ignore that pi over 2. So imagine you were just asked to do 2 sine x take away 3. Imagine you were just asked to do that. So all it would do is take this green function, make this hump bigger and move it down 3 places. So effectively you would have to start here, right? And then you draw your hump going up like that. At exactly the same values here, 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. So if that's what you were asked to do, you just draw it starting, let me do it in red, you'd start it here, and then go up, down, and so on, and then end at 2 pi, but just 3 places below, and then the hump a little bit higher. But the thing is though, this plus pi over 2 moves the whole thing pi over 2 to the left. Okay, shifts it 2 places left. So what we need to do is, instead of starting here, what we would have done effectively, we need to move everything pi over 2 to the left. So instead of starting here, I'm going to start now at minus pi over 2. I'm going to start there. Okay, that's going to be this starting point. And then the peak, okay, would have been at pi over 2, but then that's going to move back pi over 2 places. Is going to be here now, so that's where the peak's going to be. Okay, like so. And then at pi, it would have been 0, but I'm going to move that place 2 points back. So, sorry, pi over 2 back, so I'm going to move it here. So it's going to be there now. And then at 3 pi over 2, it would have been at -1 at the lowest point, but I'm going to shift that back. So 3 pi over 2, no, I haven't done, yeah, 3 pi over 2 is going to shift back to here. So it's going to be down here. And then 2 pi over 2 is going to shift, so it would have been here normally, but I'll move it back to pi over 2 places. And this is our function. And it's going to look like that, and it's going to repeat. And remember, the period doesn't change, so if you look at the length of that one wave, the length of the wave is still 2 pi units. Okay, and that's, let me do it in blue, that's 3 pi over 2 here. Okay, that's that point here. So I would have normally plotted the last point here, it would have ended here, but it's moved pi over 2 that way. And that's pretty much this function. Now let's just double check it first of all. Now we're going to set all the bars on our GeoGebra software to the correct value. So let's do A first of all. A is 2. So let's change that to 2. And D was -3. Let's change that to -3. -3. Okay, so we're looking as if it is down here. So far so good. Here's y equals -3. And then you can see, oh, I haven't changed it to 2, have I? I need to change this to exactly 2. Okay, there's 2. You can see there's a peak. All right, now that's what I was on about in terms of doing y equals 2 sine x take away 3. All it did really was move the graph 3 places down and then made the hump a little bit bigger. But now what we need to do is shift this graph pi over 2 that way. Okay, now what we need to do is this. C is pi over 2. Well, C, actually, no, C wouldn't be pi over 2. Remember, we do x take away C, right? So we're doing x take away, and it would, to get plus pi over 2, C would need to be changed to minus pi over 2, right? Because then that will give you 2 minuses make a plus, right? So what we need to do is change this bar to minus pi over 2. And what is actually pi over 2 as a decimal? Pi divided by 2 is 1.57. So we need to change it to minus 1.57, and we have done minus 1.57, and you can see, right, there's our starting point. It was here. Okay, there it was. There's the starting point, but it's moved to there now, and it goes up. And if you look at it, minus pi over 2, there's our starting point, and then at 0, it goes up to -1, and then at pi it goes down, sorry, at pi over 2 it goes down to -3, or cuts the principal axis, pi over 2 -3, and then at pi it goes down to -5, pi goes down to, let me move this little thing, -5, and then 3 pi over 2 goes back to -3. 3 pi over 2 goes back to -3. Okay, and there's our wave. Now, just double check it. When you change these sliders, just look at the function down here and make sure it matches your one. So 2 sine B was 1, x plus 1.57, that's your C, and take away 3. So we have got the right graph. And just make sure it's sine as well, because we're doing the sine wave. Right, we're going to look at one more in our next clip. So let's look at one more in a moment.